Ever wonder how the price of rice is set, or why so many people suddenly started selling phone credits a few years back? It's not magic, it's economics, and today we're diving into one of its most powerful ideas, the perfectly competitive market. So, what exactly is a competitive market? It's not about two companies battling it out in commercials. In economics, it's a very specific setup with 4 key ingredients. First, you need many buyers and sellers. So many, in fact, that no single person or company can influence the price. Think about a farmer in Indonesia selling rice. Can one farmer single-handedly decide to raise the price for the whole country? Of course not. They are a price taker, not a price maker. Second, the products are homogeneous, which is a fancy way of saying they're identical. One farmer's rice is pretty much the same as their neighbors. To the beer, rice is rice. This is crucial because it means you can't charge more for your product. Customers will just buy the identical, cheaper one next door. Third, there's free entry and exit. This means anyone can easily start a business in this market, and just as easily, they can leave if things aren't working out. No huge startup costs, no government licenses blocking the way. And fourth, there's perfect information. Everyone knows the price and quality of the goods, no secrets. Put these 4 things together, and you get a perfectly competitive market. The key takeaway for any firm in this situation is that they face a completely horizontal demand curve. The market sets the price, and the firm's only decision is how much to produce at that price. They are a price taker, plain and simple. Now, let's make this real. Imagine you're a small tofu or tahu producer in Jakarta. Your goal is to make as much profit as possible. How do you decide how much tofu to make each day? You need to think at the margin. That means you look at the cost and revenue of making just one more block of tofu. Let's say the market price for a block of tofu is 12,000 rupiah. This is your marginal revenue, or MR. It's the extra money you get for selling one more block. Now you look at your marginal cost, or MC, which is the extra cost of producing that one more block, the extra soybeans, the extra gas for cooking, the extra labor. The rule for maximizing profit is simple. Keep producing as long as your marginal revenue is greater than your marginal cost. If it costs you 10,000 rupiah to make one more block and you can sell it for 12,000, you should absolutely make it. You just earned an extra 2,000 rupiah in profit. New lines continue to do this until the cost of making that next block equals the price you can sell it for. That's the sweet spot, the point where MR equals MC. If your marginal cost rises to 13,000 rupiah, you stop. Making another block would actually lose you money. But what if the market price for tofu drops to just 5,000 rupiah? And let's say your average variable cost, things like soybeans and fuel, is 8,000 rupiah per block? This means you're losing 3,000 rupiah on every single block you sell, even before considering your rent or other fixed costs. What do? You shut down. You produce zero. It is better to just pay your rent and wait for prices to improve than to lose even more money with every sale. This gives us a brilliant insight. A firm's supply curve is actually its marginal cost curve, but only the part that lies above its average variable cost. It shows exactly how much the firm is willing to supply at any given price. So that's one firm. What about the whole market? In the short run, the market supply curve is just the sum of all the individual tofu producers' supply curves added together. If the price goes up, every single producer is incentivized to make more tofu, so the total market supply increases. It's a simple upward sloping curve, but things get really interesting in the long run. Remember that rule about free entry and exit? This is where it changes the game completely. Let's go back to our tofu example. Imagine the price is high, say 15,000 rupiah, and all the existing tofu makers are making great profits. Economists call this economic profit, meaning they're earning more than what they'd make doing anything else. What happens when people see these tofu makers driving new cars and going on vacations? They'll say, "Hey, I want a piece of that." New people will start their own tofu businesses. As more and more producers enter the market, the supply of tofu skyrockets. And what happens when supply goes way up? The price comes down. The price will keep falling as long as new firms keep entering. This process stops only when the price falls to the point where it equals the average total cost of production. At this point, firms are making what economists call zero economic profit. This sounds bad, right? Why would anyone stay in business to make zero profit? This is one of the most misunderstood concepts in economics. Zero economic profit doesn't mean you're not making money. It means your total revenue is perfectly covering all your costs, including your opportunity costs. That includes a fair salary for yourself, a normal return on the money you invested. Basically, you're earning exactly what you could earn in your next best alternative. You're doing okay, but you're not getting rich. There's no extra or excess profit left. Because there's no excess profit, there's no longer an incentive for new firms to enter. The market has reached a long-run equilibrium. Let's think about another great Indonesian example, the phone credit sellers, or penjual pulsa. When mobile phones first became popular, selling phone credit was incredibly profitable. The margins were high. People saw this opportunity, and suddenly small kiosks selling phone credits popped up on every corner. This massive entry of new sellers increased competition fiercely. To attract customers, sellers had to lower their prices, or more accurately, accept smaller and smaller profit margins. Eventually, the market became saturated. The profits were competed away until they reached that zero economic profit level. The people still selling phone credits today are earning a normal, competitive return for their time and effort. But the days of making huge, easy profits are long gone. Competition did its job. The same thing happens in reverse. If the market price for a product falls so low that firms are making losses, meaning the price is below their average total cost, some firms will start to exit the market. As firms leave, the total market supply decreases, which causes the price to rise. The price will continue to rise until it reaches that break-even point again, where the remaining firms are back to earning zero economic profit. This is the beautiful, self-correcting mechanism of a competitive market. It ensures that, in the long run, the price of a good is driven down to the lowest possible cost of producing it. And it does all of this automatically, without any central planner or government agency directing it. It's all guided by the individual decisions of firms chasing profit, the invisible hand at work. So, the next time you see a market with lots of sellers offering the same product at very similar prices, you're witnessing the power of competition. It's a force that pushes firms to be efficient, keeps prices low for consumers, and ensures that resources are allocated to where they are most valued by society. It's the simple logic behind the supply curve, and it shapes the world around us in profound ways. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of economics. See you in the next video.